Today we are going to study about the conservation of plants and animals, and this chapter give great importance for what's the need for conserving the wildlife that includes plants and animals. So let us discuss first of all what is the need of conservation. Conservation is needed in order to maintain a balance in nature, that we need to conserve forest and wildlife. Conservation and preservation of forest and wild animals are essential for sustainability of planet Earth. Suppose nobody is conserving anything or nobody is preserving anything, after a few years or a few centuries, the planet would come to an end. No living organisms would be there, no plants would be there, no animals would be there. So we need to conserve life for future, our resources for future. That's why there is a need for conservation of all natural resources, including plants and animals. In order to conserve the wildlife or the plants and animals, there are various wildlife sanctuaries are there in India. One is Bharatpur Sanctuary, other one is Kaziranga National Park, Lokacho Wildlife Sanctuary, Great Nicobar Biosphere Reserve and Tiger Reserve. These are few examples of where the conservation of wildlife is done. What are the main reasons of the destruction of the wildlife, including plants and animals? One is deforestation. What is meant by deforestation? Deforestation means cleaning or clearing of forest and using that land for other purposes. What are the reasons for doing this deforestation? One, for procuring land for cultivation. Second, for building houses and factories. Third, for making furniture. And fourth, using wood as a fuel. And fifth, apart from these man-made calamities, there are some natural causes of deforestation, and they are forest fires and severe droughts. Now, what all will be the consequences of this deforestation? The increase in temperature and pollution level is one of the consequences of deforestation. Increase in the level of the carbon dioxide, that is also a result of the deforestation. And not only, it lowers the groundwater level, it decreases the rainfall and also decreases the soil fertility, and it causes disturbance in balance of nature. There are increased chances of natural calamities, droughts and desertification. Desertification means conversion of the fertile land into desert land gradually because of not having any rainfall. So if we are not conserving the forest today, in future we all will suffer from severe consequences of deforestation, as I have mentioned right now. How do we conserve the wildlife? We conserve wildlife in sanctuaries, national parks and biosphere reserve. Let us analyze each one of them. What is meant by a sanctuary? Sanctuary is a protected area where animals are protected from any disturbance to them and their habitat. And what about national park? These are areas reserved for wildlife where they can freely use the natural habitat and natural resources. And third category is the biosphere reserve. These are large areas of protected land for conservation of wildlife, plants and animals resources, and traditional life of the tribals living in that area. What are the flora and fauna? The plants and animals found in a particular area is known as the flora and fauna. Plants are the flora and animals are the fauna. In this flora and fauna, there are certain endemic species. What is meant by endemic species? The species which are found exclusively in a particular area is called endemic species. Say for example, the endemic flora of Panchamadi are sal tree and wild mango tree, whereas endemic fauna of Panchamadi are bison, Indian giant squirrel and flying squirrels. Even though we are protecting animals and plants in our reserves, there are certain animals facing the problem of their endangering of life, you can say. What is meant by endangered animals? Animals whose members are diminishing due to a level, they might face extinction. Once they are extincted, you cannot revive them. That's why we need to conserve them, we need to protect them and give them ample opportunity to survive, and as all living organisms have the right to live. Now, ecosystem. It is made up of all plants and animals and microorganisms in an area, along with non-living components such as climate, soil, river, deltas, etc. This is very important to maintain the balance of plants and animals in nature. If the ecosystem is in right order, plants and animals will thrive there freely, and thereby sustainability of the living organism would be there. Now we are going to talk about a red data book. What is meant by the red data book? This is a source book which keeps the record of all the endangered animals. Why it is to be maintained? So that anybody can refer, also anybody can take a note of the organisms which are endangered, coming under the endangered species, and can take care of them. Migration. What is meant by migration? The movement of animals towards places where they can escape from the harsh climatic conditions. When there is extreme winter in Siberian region, from there birds fly to warmer areas, nest over there and produce their young ones, and once the climate become okay over in the region, they will go back to their own native place. So these kind of movement of animals towards places to escape from the harsh climatic condition is called migration. This is not only done by the birds, even fish also do the same thing. There are other animals also doing the same thing. How can you protect the environment? Protection of environment is not just by creating the wildlife reserves, sanctuaries, etc. It can be done by recycling of paper. It is said that paper can be recycled for 5 to 7 times. This will reduce the cutting of the trees. We should save, reuse used paper and then recycle it, not for once, for 7 times. That reduces the cutting of the trees to a minimum. Now, second thing that you can do for the protection of the environment is that reforestation. What is meant by reforestation? It is the restocking of the destroyed forest by planting new trees which are suitable for that area. But one thing that we can take into consideration is that the plant should be that which you are using to replant must be suitable for that climatic conditions so that they can thrive without much help from anybody. Reforestation also can be done naturally by leaving the area undisturbed for a few seasons. Say for example, one area is cleared of the forest, that area can be kept undisturbed for the coming 5 to 10 years so that naturally plantation or natural vegetation will grow over there and there it will become a forest again. So this is all about the conservation of plants and animals, and let us discuss the chapter in detail by finding out the points which we have discussed by an activity, popcorn activity, where children will move around and I'll ask them to stop by 1 or 2 or 3 in the groups, and when I will put up a question, and that question will be answered by one child from one group, and if it is not known to the others, they will be explaining them, so it will be a recapitulation activity. And after that we will be doing the spiral questions. Thank you.